So I got COVID. It happened finally, and it brought me much closer to God. Okay, this is an interesting episode. All right, I'm gonna get a little weird with you, so stick it out with me because I don't know if it was the brain fog or what the heck it was, but I am back from 2 weeks of having been away. If you'll notice, we missed 2 podcast episodes. 2! It hurts. It hurts here. Because we've never missed an episode. We're coming on 4 years soon. I got some big announcements coming out. I'm not gonna blow one of them, but at this episode, I got another one. And the next episode, see, I can't even talk. I can't put thoughts together. Freaking COVID. All right. So I want to walk you through what my experience with COVID was, how I got it, what it did. And I also want to walk you through some key lessons I learned as I had an opportunity and time to just be by myself, right? Because what happens when you get COVID? You're quarantined, you stop working, you're resting, you have all this downtime. So you're in your own head and you're thinking. Also, in my case, it got kind of dicey there for a second. All right. It got bad. Now, nothing compared to people who have had it really bad. It got bad enough that I was really concerned about what could happen. Thankfully, what could happen didn't happen. So like I curbed real quick, but I don't know, man, it just really made me think. And the biggest thing that happened is I got COVID and it brought me closer to God. And what does that have to do with anything? So I don't really believe in religion. So I don't assign a religion to me, but I do follow the Bible and I follow Jesus. And I think that that's a great thing for all of us to do. And I think like most people in any religion, we are told we should pray, right? We should pray every day. We should bring gratitude. We should pray for the things we want. We should give thanks to God. We should be in communication with God. We should pray at least once a day. And let's just be honest. How many of us actually pray every day? Okay. We tell people all the time, oh, I'm praying for you. I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. Do we actually ever pray? Very few of us actually sit down and say, oh, I told Sally I was going to pray for her, so let me pray. So I'll be honest, I don't really pray near as much as I should. I don't pray a lot at all. Now, on the same side, I am around people that are amazing at it. So I've got great role models who pray every day, but I don't. So let's take a step back. What happened? How did I get COVID? And what the heck does this have to do with my prayer life and bringing me closer to God? So we did this event at the Lurn Center called the Expert Summit, which was a radically huge, massive success. And eventually one of the episodes I'm going to do soon is how I filled that room and what I did and how the event went. I mean, that event was literally a PhD in psychology. I mean, it was the most articulately well-run event. People loved it. They got great value. It was a superb revenue event, broke records. It was a lot of fun. It was 4 days. It was, 3 days for the event and a bonus day for some people. So I was up for 4 days, exhausted. I would get up at 7:30 in the morning, get here. The event would start at 9 and I would be on stage and speak and I'd be mingling and talking to people up until like 7 p.m. right? And then Saturday we even had a party. So it was like seriously 7 a.m. to like midnight. And if you know me at all, you know I'm an introvert. So this stuff takes it all out of me because I'm on stage and then when I'm off stage, I'm mingling with people and then I'm back on stage and then I'm off stage and I'm mingling with people and everyone wants to take pictures and everyone wants to shake hands and everyone wants to talk. And this entire time you're like, one of you has COVID. Well, Monday evening comes by and I feel a little scratchy throat. Feels a little weird, right? And of course, I'm kind of aware of the fact that like, it just got done being around 130 or 140 people that flew in from all over the world. We had there from Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, Dubai, India, South America. I mean, seriously, all over the world. And I don't think much of it because if I'm on stage for 4 days and I'm speaking, I feel like, oh, I have a scratchy throat. So what? Except all of a sudden in our Slack channel, one of our team members messages and says, guys, I just tested positive for COVID. I wanted you guys to know. I'm like, as soon as I see that, I thought, oh, I tested Monday night, boom, COVID positive. So first time experience with COVID. Now I have a lot of autoimmune disease, so I'm on immunosuppressants. So of course you kind of get freaked out. First thing I did is quarantine myself because my wife and my daughter and our nanny is there. Oh, my wife did not test positive that night. She did eventually go on to get it. So did my baby. They're all fine. We're all fine. So the first couple of days, I was okay. My symptoms weren't that bad at all. Like I had a little fever. I was in bed, but I was on this massive high of this event. So I was like working, okay? Big mistake number one. I was pushing through. I was working. I was in bed, lying down on my laptop, working away, excited. I'm planning the next event, planning the next thing, and the next way I'm going to conquer the world and do all these amazing things. And I'm responding to everyone on Facebook and I'm messaging everybody that joined our mastermind and I'm just having a great time. So I'm not getting that mental rest, but still I recover to a large degree. So by Wednesday, I'm feeling much better. By Wednesday night, so it's only been 2 or 3 days, I'm like, yeah, I kicked this COVID thing. And so it's not even in my head. COVID hasn't yet started playing with my head because I've been winning, right? And I've been on this high and I've been working a lot. And then come Wednesday evening and my wife starts to show some signs. We test her Thursday, she's positive Thursday morning. So we tell, of course, our nanny, hey, don't come in. Now we're worried about the baby. Obviously, we've been wearing a mask around the baby every time, but now the nanny's not there. We have to take care of her. So I'm like, hey, I got this. I got this because I feel better. You go rest. man, day and that night, the baby starts to get sick. So obviously babies, when they're sick, they're needy and cranky and upset. So I'm taking care of her that night. I remember being up, holding her on my chest for like 4 or 5 hours because she would not go down. She wanted to stay on my chest. So I'm up and I can't sleep because of that. So by weekend now, we're all burned out. We're all exhausted. And Sunday, here's what happens, all right? True story. It's kind of funny, but funny now, not funny at the time. My wife comes down with the baby, right? So my wife's a little bit better, right? But what happened is my COVID rebounded because I wasn't getting any rest. So Sunday night, my wife's running down with the baby and she comes in and she's like running down with her like, oh my God. And the baby had pooped. And she's like, can't you smell the poop? And here's the thing you have to know about me. I got supersonic smell. Guys, the baby would poop in the bedroom upstairs. I could smell it on the stairs walking up and I'd be like, Ava's pooped. And she is literally right next to me. I don't smell anything. And right then I was like, shoot, I lost my smell. And let me tell you right now, the weirdest, scariest feeling in the world is to lose one of your senses. I've heard so many people talk about they've lost their sense of smell. You do not appreciate what that means until you lose your own sense of smell. Then I run to smell some stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I've lost my sense of smell. For the most part, 90% gone. Oh yeah, wow. Coffee tastes like water, tastes like hot water. So I immediately start to have a bit of a panic attack. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, it's happened. Now here's the other thing. I never get anxiety. I'm not an anxious person. I could never do what I do in my life as an entrepreneur if I was an anxious person. I start having anxiety. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, I think this is COVID playing with my head. And I'm like, no, holy crap. World's come to an end. I will never taste again. I'll never smell again. And you know the thing that made me the saddest? This is the weirdest thing. And it's gonna sound creepy and I don't mean it to sound creepy. Maybe parents will understand. The thing that made me the saddest was I couldn't smell my baby. They had that baby smell. And I would hold her and I was like, I can't smell her. And it almost brought me to tears. Because in my head, I thought, am I ever going to be able to smell my little baby again? Like, this is so crazy. But I'm like, why are you freaking out? You know people lose their smell. I'm talking to people that say that comes back. It could take a few months, but I'm still having these anxiety attacks. Then I'm realizing, I'm like, something's up. I've taken all the meds I can take. Everyone's telling me just calm down, take some rest. I can't sleep. I've taken everything. What do I resort to? Straight up prayer. And I remember saying, maybe this is God's plan all along. So some of us, we tend to pray, right? When we have nothing else we can do. And then we wonder why we find ourselves in these situations in life where we're cornered. We're like, how could God let this happen to me? Well, maybe he's just trying to have a conversation with me. So I start praying. I call my pastor, the pastor that married my wife and I. He lives in the UK, we met in India. Call him. I'm like, help. And I'm like, I can't pray. I'm freaking out. I'm in my own head. So I'm calling my friends. To those of you who got that call and who were my prayer warriors and helped pray, thank you so much. Really love you guys, seriously. And I'm kind of looking at myself from this bird's eye view and I'm like, look at what is happening here. But what was interesting, I finally sat down to pray and I remember the first thing I prayed. And I'm telling you, this changed my life. There's a moment, I'm sharing a very, very volatile moment with you that changed my life. Because the prayer wasn't, dear Father God, can you please fix my nose, make me healthy, make me wealthy, oh my God, my business, I got to get focused. No, my prayer exactly, which I think showed so much maturity for me. I'm so proud of myself. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't plan this. The first words that came out of my mouth was, God, please heal me so that I can be a better husband and a better father. And that I heard myself. I saw, and I almost felt like when I prayed that, I could almost feel like God saying, do you see that? I wanted you to realize what your real priorities are. Because I didn't care about my business at that moment. When I was so sick that I couldn't even sleep, when I was so sick that I was having panic attacks, and when I was so sick that I couldn't smell or taste, I didn't care about my business. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about wealth. I cared about my family. I cared about my daughter, my wife. I cared about being there for them. I cared about the things that matter. And I remember that moment, and I actually went and I ruminated about that for a good hour or two. Again, one of the things with COVID, right? You're kind of alone. You think a lot of time to think. And I thought, man, when it gets tough, right? And you're cornered, you actually don't care about any of that crap that we spend most of our 80% of our day worried about. I would have given any amount of money. I'm not even making this up. I would have given any amount of money to smell my baby. I know it sounds super creepy, but it's not. All right. And so, by the way, jumping ahead, I'm filming this episode. I've tested negative. I'm here. I'm back at work. I'm loving life. Things are good. I got a little bit of brain fog. I got a little bit of tiredness, nothing much. And sure enough, this past weekend, I walked into Ava's room, her nursery, to pick her up. And I walked in and I was like, whoa, you've pooped. I didn't realize what I just said. Picked her up, started changing her diaper. And mid diaper, I was like, yes, I can smell poop. And I was like, wow, I've never been more excited to smell poop in my life. So it's not fully back yet, but it's back enough. And I just wanted to really take a minute to share with you guys that, first of all, COVID sucks. It does mess with your head. And just no one ever told me that. No one ever said it can create anxiety and panic attacks. It's weird. It's gone now. Thank God. To any of you who have anxiety and panic attacks, man, I really feel for you. I've never had them and I've never understood. Because people would be like, just calm down. Life's fine. What's wrong with you? It's okay. It's not in your freaking control. Holy crap. crap. That stuff is serious. It gets bad. So I just feel for you. Like, seriously, I'm here for you, love you, and I'm sorry if I haven't understood before. I do now. I walked away with a great lesson of my life, which was how much of the stuff we worry about during the regular day is actually crap we even care about when we think we've lost it all. Like, when we really feel like we're in the corner, guys, all we care about is our loved ones. So why don't we spend our good days, our normal days, worrying about the things that we know are actually what we're going to worry about in the end. If that's all I took away from COVID and my prayers, man, it was a life lesson that I will remember forever. And I had already begun to really adjust my life and the way I live my life for my family, but I'm doing it even more now. And if you've been watching this podcast religiously, you've seen that transformation happen over the last 6 to 8 months. And it's just like got solidified. Freaking COVID, this like stupid, evil, ridiculous, dumb, I got a lot of words I don't want to use on this podcast, things, right? Like this COVID, this horrible thing brought this beautiful realization, message, and lesson in my life. Please, whatever your religion is, that's whatever you do, pray more, meditate more, connect with the higher things, because and pay attention to what you're really praying for. And especially when you're in that zone of crying out and you just feel like you're really cornered, look and pay attention to what you actually worry about and care about. And those are the things that you should be spending the rest of your normal days worrying about. Life just gets better. So a bunch of you were reaching out because you found out from some of my Facebook groups and stuff I had COVID. Thank you so much. Love you all. You love me so much. And it is such an honor and a pleasure. And it's humbling and I love it. And thank you for all reaching out. I'm doing good. Ava's doing good. My wife's doing good. We're all healthy. And we're stronger for it. And to any of you who are currently experiencing any of the COVID symptoms, I'm here for you, man. Like I feel for you. And for the rest of you who haven't had it or who aren't facing any of the COVID issues, that's great, man. But just figure out in your life what's really important. Stop worrying about the stuff that isn't. Love you guys. This is Anik reminding you, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, push it the heck back, smash that subscribe button, leave me a comment, click the like button, hit subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're watching this on or listening to this on. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.